High above Halifax, there's a hill called Beacon Hill. Most people, they go there for the view. Wind on the grass, the town spread below, Pennine sky above. But that hill wasn't named for the view. It was named for fire. Because once, on that ridge above Halifax, fire meant one thing. Warning. Smoke by day, flame by night, news carried across the hills. And if you stood in the valley below, you didn't look up at Beacon Hill for beauty. You looked up to see whether it was lit. And that's where the hill begins. Beacon Hill, above Halifax. A high place on old routes into the valley. Long before mills, and long before chimneys. Travellers crossed that ridge across the ancient road called the Magna Via. Boots, pack horses, caravans of traders moving slowly over the high ground. And hills like that, they served a purpose. They watched, they signalled, and they warned. So when danger had to be sent across the country, a fire would be lit on Beacon Hill. And then another hill would answer, and then another. Flame after flame after flame. A message travelling through the land faster than any rider. Now that was the hill's first job. Warning. But Beacon Hill did another job as well. A harder one. Because sometimes the warning was not fire. Sometimes the warning was a body. In the 1760s, this valley was known for something else. Coiners. Candlelight. File against gold. The soft ring of stolen metal. Men who clipped the edges from the gold coins and they melted the fragments and quietly made new money from stolen metal. It's dangerous work, illegal work. But in the uplands around Calderdale, it spread quickly. Gold coins passed constantly through the cloth trade. And temptation travels quickly in a hard country. Now the most famous of these coiners was a man called David Hartley, sometimes called King David. He was eventually caught and executed in York in 1770. But two other men from the coining gangs, Robert Thomas, Matthew Normington, they were involved in the killing of an excise officer named William Dayton. And when they were caught, the authorities wanted a warning the valley would never forget. So after execution, their bodies were brought to Beacon Hill and hung in iron cages above the town, left there for travellers to see, left there for the valley to remember. A message in open air. Do not do this. Do not follow them. And do not forget who rules here. Now imagine approaching Halifax 200 years ago. You climb the last stretch on the hill road. The wind is moving through the grass, and the town smoke is rising from the valley. And above you, on the ridge, a shape hanging in chains, not hidden, not buried, displayed, warning. Now that's the second life of Beacon Hill. Fire and fear, signal and punishment, smoke by day, flame by night, and iron cages in between. And once a place has carried that many meanings, the feeling never quite leaves, even when the work is long finished. Today, people climb Beacon Hill for very different reasons. For the view, for the walk, and for the open sky above Halifax. Sometimes, there's even ceremonial beacons lit there on national occasions. A friendly fire, a commemorative one. But stand there on the right evening, when the valley turns dark before the hill does, and it's easy to feel the older version of the place. The hill that watched the valley. The hill that warned the valley. The hill that reminded people what happened when warning was ignored. And perhaps that's why Beacon Hill still sits so strongly in the Halifax imagination. Because some places stop being just landscape. They become a signal. A memory that's held high above the town. A ridge that once said, "Look up, watch the fire." And if the beacon ever burns again, pay attention. This is Giles. And around Halifax, even the hills remember their work. And some of them still wait for the fire.